100 poets, one poem each, number 16. The poem, Tachi wakare, Inaba no yama no, mine ni ouru, matsu to kikaba, ima kaeri kon. We part now, but if I hear that you are waiting for me, like the pine on the peak of Inaba Mountain, I will come back at once. 31 syllables, the 16th poem in the anthology of 100. This poem is about leaving, about the moment before departure, when the road is ahead and the people are behind, and someone needs to say what the leaving means. He chose to say it, not as a promise to return, as a condition. If you wait, I will come back. Tell me you are waiting, and I will be back before the pine has grown. The poet, his name was Ariwara no Yukihira. In the 100 poets he is listed as Chunagon Yukihira, the middle counselor Yukihira, his court title, the position he reached after decades of service. He was born in 818. He died in 893. 76 years old, a long life by any measure, a long life in the service of the court. He was the son of Prince Abo, the grandson of Emperor Heizei, and the older brother of Ariwara no Narihira, the poet of poem number 17, the man who was the model for the hero of the tales of Issei, the most famous lover in Heian literature, the brothers Yukihira and Narihira, the serious one and the passionate one, the official and the artist, the brother who managed the court, and the brother who became a legend, both in the 100 poets, side by side, 16 and 17, the brothers across the page. The official, Yukihira, was a capable administrator. This is the word the tradition uses. Capable, reliable, effective, not words that make legends, but words that make careers. He rose through the ranks. Governor of Harima, governor of Shinano, head of the imperial household, Dazai no Gon no Sochi, the deputy governor of the great administrative center, that managed the western provinces and the relationship with Korea and China. He organized the education of the Ariwara clan. At 63, he established the Shogakuin, a school for the children of the family, the academic institution that taught his clan's children what they needed to know to serve the court. He was not only a functionary, he organized the oldest poetry contest that survives in the records, the Minbu no Kyo Yukihira Utawase, the poetry competition hosted at his house in the 880s. 2 teams, competing poems, judges, rules, the full ceremony, the form that would become the standard for poetry competitions across the next century. The exile to Suma, but before all of this, before the career in the school and the oldest surviving poetry competition, there was Suma. In the reign of Emperor Montoku, something happened. The records are not specific. A court incident, something that resulted in Yukihira being sent away to Suma, the coast to the west of the capital, the place that would become famous in Japanese literature for the particular quality of its loneliness. He was there for a period, not permanently, not forever, but long enough to write about it, long enough for the experience to become something he carried afterward. At Suma, the tradition says he met two sisters, women who made their living by the sea, burning salt from the kelp, the work of the coast. He named them Matsukaze, the wind through the pines, Murasame, the passing shower. He loved them, both of them, in the way that the tradition accepts without much commentary the way of someone with enough charm and position to love two sisters simultaneously and have it recorded as a legend rather than a scandal. The No play, Zeami wrote a play about this. Matsukaze, the most famous No play, about the Suma story. The play begins after Yukihira has left, long after. He is gone, he is dead. The two sisters are still there, still at Suma, still burning salt, still waiting. A traveling monk arrives at their hut. He shelters there. The sisters appear. They have lived their whole lives with the memory of the man who came and named them and left. Matsukaze puts on Yukihira's old robe, the robe he left behind. She puts on his court hat. She dances. She is him. She is herself waiting for him. She is the wind through the pines, and the memory of the man who heard that wind and gave her its name. The play ends. The monk sleeps. The morning comes. The sisters are gone, whether they were ever there. In the way the living are there is the question the play leaves open. The hut, the morning light, the sound of the wind through the pines, the sound of passing rain. The source of Genji's Suma exile. Murasaki Shikibu read the stories. She knew about Yukihira at Suma. She knew about Matsukaze and Murasame. She knew about the man who had been sent away and who had sat on the coast and written about what it meant to be far from the capital. When she wrote Genji's exile to Suma, she was writing about Yukihira's exile to Suma, or through it, using it as the ground on which she built something larger. Genji at Suma is the pivot of the tale, the moment when everything changes, the height of his rise, and the beginning of everything after. And beneath Genji at Suma is Yukihira at Suma, the real man, the administrator and the poet, who sat on the coast with the wind through the pines and the two sisters, and wrote about what it meant to be there. The cat charm. This is the strangest detail. In the story of poem 16, in Japan for centuries, if your cat ran away, you would recite this poem, or write it on paper, or paste it near the door. The reasoning, the poem says matsu, the pine, but also waiting, and the poem says ima kaeri kon, I will come back at once. If the cat heard this poem, the cat would wait, and then come back. The novelist Uchida Hyakunin wrote a famous book about his lost cat, Nora, the cat who disappeared. He placed newspaper advertisements, searching for Nora and on those advertisements, printed in red ink around the border, was poem 16, the charm for the returning, the poem of Matsu and Ima kaeri kon. Whether the poem works as a cat charm is a question each lost cat owner answers for themselves. The wordplay. The poem has two pivots. The first, Inaba, the name of the province. Inaba, but also Inaba, if I go. The sound of the destination contains the sound of the going. He is going to Inaba, and the word for going there is embedded in the name of the place. The second, Matsu, the pine on the mountain, the tree that does not change, that stays green through winter, that is there when you return, as it was when you left. The symbol of waiting, of constancy, of the thing that remains, and also waiting. Matsu, the pine, matsu, to wait, the tree and the act, both in the same syllables. If I hear that you are pining, that you are matsu, I will come back, the pine that waits, the person who waits like a pine, both in the same word, both in the same poem. The brother in the next poem, poem 17, is Narihira, the younger brother, the one who became a legend, the one who is the hero of the tales of Issei, the one who loved impossibly and beautifully and disastrously and was remembered for it. Poem 16 is Yukihira, the older brother, the one who administered and organized, who established a school, who was sent to Suma and came back and continued, who hosted the oldest poetry competition, who rose to middle counselor. Take place them together, 16 and 17, the brothers, the serious one and the famous one, the poem of departure, and the poem that follows. If you wait for me, I will come back, the pine on the mountain, waiting, green through every season, unchanged. Tachi wakare, Inaba no yama no, mine ni ouru, matsu toshi kikaba, ima kaeri kon. We part, the mountain ahead, the pine on the peak. If you are waiting, I am already on my way back.